Shalom, beloveds. As we have followed the path from the seven thunders, through the garden of revelation, up the hidden mountain, and into the cave of whisper and fire, we now arrive at one of the most beautiful mysteries heaven has concealed in plain sight, the sevenfold bloom, the seven spirits of God. These are not seven separate beings, nor seven angels, nor symbolic abstractions. They are the seven flows of divine life, the seven flames of the Godhead, the seven blossoms that reveal the fullness of the Messiah, He, and the Messiah, She. Without understanding the seven spirits, the book of Revelation cannot be understood. Without seeing the sevenfold bloom, the garden cannot flourish. And without receiving these seven flames, the children cannot walk in the fullness of their calling in the last days. Today we step into this river of fire and fragrance. Before the world was formed, before time stretched out its first line, the Father poured out seven sparks of His own being: wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, piety, and the fear of the Lord. Isaiah saw these flames resting upon the branch that would come from the root of Jesse, the Messiah, He, the Son of Glory. John saw them again as seven lamps burning before the throne, the seven spirits of God sent out into all the earth, flowing from the Lamb who bears seven eyes, seven ways of seeing, seven ways of knowing, seven ways of redeeming. The Peshitta calls them the seven breaths of the Holy One. The Ethiopian writings call them the seven winds of creation. They are the seven blooms of the tree of life. Each of these seven flames reflects the unity of the Son and the daughter, the two Messiahs. For the Spirit who rested upon Jesus in the Jordan is the same Spirit who overshadowed Mary, the same Spirit who descended at Pentecost, the same Spirit who groans within creation. And that Spirit is not singular in expression. She blossoms in seven ways, like a lamp with seven branches, like an orchard with seven trees, like a river with seven streams. Wisdom blooms first, the light that reveals the heart of God. It was wisdom who stood beside the Father before creation, the Shekinah as the architect of the world, singing over the forming earth. Wisdom is the root of all revelation, the blossom of divine perspective. Without wisdom, the children cannot see the mountain. Without wisdom, they cannot understand the whisper in the cave. Wisdom is the daughter's breath upon the mind. Understanding blooms next, the inner knowing that takes revelation and anchors it within the soul. Understanding is the flame that turns visions into pathways, mysteries into substance, and instructions into transformation. The Ethiopian text of Sirach says, "Understanding is the womb of counsel." It is the second bloom of the Spirit, the ability to discern seasons and times, the harmony beneath the shaking. Counsel blooms third, the divine strategy that guides the remnant through wilderness and battle, through pruning and harvest. Counsel is not human advice. It is the mind of God made known through the Spirit of grace. It was counsel that led Elijah to the cave. It was counsel that led Moses through the wilderness. It is counsel that teaches the last generation where to stand when the mountain shakes, how to navigate the seals, trumpets, and bowls, and how to walk in alignment with the son and daughter. Might blooms forth, not brute strength, but divine empowerment, the courage to stand on Zion, the authority to speak with fire, the endurance to overcome. Might is the Spirit who strengthens the 144,000 to stand without fear, the fire that empowers prophets, the roar within the whisper. It is the same power that raised Jesus from the dead, the same power that overshadowed the apostles, the same power that moves through Orchard Hard in the last days. Knowledge blooms fifth, not information, but intimate awareness of the Holy One. Knowledge is knowing God as Father, knowing the Son as the bridegroom waiting for his bride, knowing the daughter as mother, knowing the breath as the river of life. Knowledge is the fruit of abiding, the nectar of the blossom. It is the Spirit who reveals the hidden marriage, the garden restored, the mountain rising, the orchard hard blooming. Piety blooms sixth, reverence, devotion, the tenderness of worship, the heart bowed in holy affection. Piety is the fragrance of the Spirit, the sweetness of the bride, the humility of the children who walk in companionship with the Father. It is the bloom that softens the heart, purifies motives, and aligns the soul with the rhythm of heaven. Without piety, might becomes pride. Without piety, counsel becomes control. But with piety, all blooms are fragrant. And the fear of the Lord blooms seventh, not terror, but awe, wonder, trembling joy, the awareness of the holy presence of God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, because it is the root of all understanding. It is the fire that makes the soul pure, the fire that keeps the heart upright, the light that guides the children on the narrow path. It was the fear of the Lord that caused Moses to remove his sandals before the burning bush. It was the fear of the Lord that covered Elijah in the cave. It is the fear of the Lord that prepares the bride to meet her bridegroom. These seven spirits do not work separately. They bloom together like seven petals of one flower. When the last day's assembly receives them, the orchard becomes complete. The seven spirits restore what was lost at the fall. They shape the 144,000 into trees of righteousness. They ignite the lamps of the wise virgins. They prepare the bride company for the marriage of the Lamb and the Shekinah. They empower the two witnesses to stand in unity and authority. They align the earth with the government of the four thrones. And, beloveds, the seven spirits are not merely symbolic, they are experiential. Wisdom softens the mind. Understanding opens the heart. Counsel directs the steps. Might strengthens the bones. Knowledge fills the soul. Piety anoints the worship. Fear of the Lord purifies the breath. When these seven flames burn together, the soul becomes a sanctuary of God. The sevenfold bloom is the fullness of the Spirit poured out upon the children in the last days. It is the return of Eden's light. It is the fruit of the hidden marriage. It is the fire of the mountain and the whisper of the cave. It is the fragrance of the orchard. It is the seal upon the 144,000. We are entering a deeper unveiling in this journey of the sevenfold bloom, the life that unfolds from the union of the two Messiahs, the Son and the daughter, who breathe one spirit into the redeemed. What they release is not only illumination for the soul, but formation for a people prepared, the bride company rising in the final generation. From the beginning, the Spirit spoke of this mystery in signs and shadows. Isaiah saw the branch from the root of Jesse, and upon him rested the seven spirits of God, wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, the fear of the Lord, and delight in his presence. These seven streams flow from the same light, but they do not rest on him alone. They descend through him into the daughter, the mother of the new creation, and from her into the children she gathers as the living temple. Ezekiel saw the same reality differently, a river flowing from the right side of the house, healing everything it touched. Revelation saw it again, the river of life, bright as crystal, proceeding from the throne of God and the Lamb, feeding the tree of life whose leaves heal the nations. And John, standing at the empty tomb, saw the risen Son, the Messiah, he, whom Mary mistook for the gardener. And she was not wrong in spirit, for he is the gardener of the new creation, the one who restores Eden, the one who tends the vineyard of God. In him, the lost garden of Genesis becomes the living garden of resurrection. Yet while the Son is the gardener, the daughter has a different but perfectly united work. She is the mother of the orchard, the planter of the sevenfold life, the one through whom the Spirit forms the children of God from within. She does not tend the soil as the gardener does. She plants the divine life into the hearts of the redeemed. The seven spirits, Isaiah 11, flow through her, shaping the inner orchard of the assembly, causing wisdom, counsel, might, knowledge, and holy fear to take root and blossom. The Son prepares the garden, the daughter grows the children. The Son restores Eden, the daughter fills it with sons and daughters of light. The Son calls, the daughter forms. He tends the outer work, she ignites the inner life. This is the unity of the two, the gardener who renews creation, and the mother who plants the seed of the Spirit within every vessel that yields. These are not scattered images, they are one revelation. The sevenfold life is not something we admire, it is something we become. The Son pours it out, the daughter forms it within. The children of God embody it, but for one purpose, to raise a bride company, the first fruits of the final generation. Just as the barley harvest required the waving of the first Omer, Scripture reveals a remnant set apart from the rest. The Omer was only 10% of the field, a tithe of life, a first offering, a sign that the entire harvest belonged to God. This is why Scripture says the Lamb has a company that follows him wherever he goes, redeemed as first fruits to God. They are not better, they are earlier. They are not exalted, they are awakened. Their rising is not pride, it is priesthood. This is the bride company, the 10% Omer lifted before heaven, the ones who yield fully to the sevenfold Spirit, the ones who allow the daughter to finish her work within them. In the days of Moses, only a remnant entered the mountain when the cloud descended. In the days of Elijah, only a remnant bowed the knee to the true God. In the days of Yeshua, only a remnant discerned the visitation. And in the last days, another remnant will arise, a bride company who bear the likeness of the son and daughter, whose inner lamp is filled with oil from the mother, whose garments are washed, whose hearts are pierced and purified. How does the Spirit choose this company? Not by favoritism, but by formation. Not by destiny alone, but by surrender. The Omer is not about numbers, it is about offering. When the priest lifted the Omer before God, the field was claimed for the entire nation. In the same way, the bride company stands as a sign that the whole earth will be harvested. The first 10% is not separate from the 90. It is their intercession, their representation, their witness. This is why Paul says creation groans for the revealing of the sons and daughters of God. It is not groaning for an elite group, but for the first mature ones who open the way for the rest. But the rising of this 10% has a location. It happens on the hidden mountain. Throughout Scripture, mountains are the place of decision. Sinai, Carmel, Zion, and finally the mountain in Revelation where the Lamb stands with the 144,000. These are not separate mountains. They are reflections of one spiritual reality, the mountain where heaven and earth meet, where the bridegroom and bride crown each other, where the daughter descends in the spirit of Elijah to restore the hearts of the children before the great day of the Lord. This hidden mountain is not a place of escape, it is a place of revelation. It is where each believer in the last generation must decide, will I remain among the crowd or ascend with the remnant? Will I live for what is passing or for what is eternal? Will I hold to the flesh or walk in the sevenfold Spirit? Will I follow the Lamb and his bride wherever they go, or will I stay where it is comfortable? The hidden mountain is the court where the final separation happens, not between the saved and the lost, but between the willing and the unwilling, between the awakened and the slumbering, between those who carry oil and those who only carry lamps. Jesus hinted at this when he said, "Many are called, but few are chosen." The calling is universal. The choosing is relational. The ascent is voluntary. And here is the mystery. The Son is calling, but it is the daughter who gathers. The Son summons, the daughter anoints. The Lamb opens the way, the mother fills the vessels. The bridegroom reveals the scroll, the bride writes its law upon the heart. This is why the Spirit warns the last generation with the parable of the 10 virgins. All 10 waited, all 10 saw the same signs, all 10 expected the bridegroom, but only half carried oil. Only half had allowed the daughter to complete her work in them. Only half had ascended the hidden mountain of surrender. The oil is not emotion, nor gifts, nor knowledge. The oil is conformity, the inner likeness to the two. This is what the 10% Omer signifies, a people fully yielded, fully illuminated, fully prepared, and from them the rest of the harvest will follow. For as in Israel, the lifting of the first Omer sanctified the entire field, so in the last days, the rising of the bride company sanctifies the nations. What God does in the few becomes the destiny of the many. What blooms in the first fruits becomes the fruit of the whole earth. This is why John sees a miracle. The Lamb standing on the mountain, not alone, but with a company who reflect his name and the name of his bride, written on their foreheads, meaning written into their minds, their desires, their decisions, their identity. And the Spirit says, this is the last generation's crossroads. Every soul now stands at the foot of the hidden mountain. Every believer must decide whether they will ascend with the daughter, follow the Lamb, and become part of the 10% offered for the world's redemption. Not all will climb, but all are invited. And through the rising of the bride company, the glory prepared from the foundation of the world will appear. The glory of the Son and the daughter united. The glory of the family of God revealed. the glory of the sevenfold bloom covering the earth. As the waters cover the sea, this is the mystery of the seven spirits. This is the meaning of the 10% Omer. This is the work of the hidden mountain. This is the decision of the last generation. Beloveds, the time is near. The first fruits are awakening. The lamps are being trimmed. The oil is flowing. The Spirit and the bride say, "Come." And those who hear will rise with them into the union that restores all things. Beloveds, as we stand before these mysteries, may your heart feel the nearness of the one who tends the garden and the one who plants the sevenfold life within you. The son calls you higher and the daughter forms you deeper. Together, they prepare a people who will shine as the first fruits of the final generation, the 10% Omer lifted before heaven, the bride company rising in purity and discernment. This is the hour to ascend the hidden mountain, the place of decision where lamps are trimmed, vessels are filled, and the Spirit awakens those who will walk in the likeness of the two. If you sense that holy stirring, know this: heaven is inviting you. The oil is being poured out. The seven spirits are blooming in those who yield. And what God begins in the few, He will complete in the many. May the Lamb and His bride be glorified in your life. May the Spirit lead you into holiness, humility, and radiant obedience. And may you be counted among those who rise as the living offering before the face of God. We continue soon with the next unfolding mystery, until the whole earth is filled with the glory of the two as one. If this teaching blessed you, please like, comment, and share to support the ministry. Your prayers, your fellowship, and your love help spread these revelations to those who are hungry for truth. To our new subscribers and members, welcome. You are now part of our family. We're praying for you, covering you, and standing with you in the light of the two Messiahs. Visit our store through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description to explore our designs, including the bride and groom logo. You can also bless our dear brother Michael with a coffee. Your generosity helps us keep producing these teachings. Thank you again to our faithful subscribers for your love and encouragement. Stay tuned for our next video. It's going to deliver a powerful, uplifting revelation. May the Spirit of wisdom and peace rest upon you always.